So you might be wondering why we're standing around holding these big limited edition boxes.
We're going to talk about the history of collectors and limited edition video games.
Stop it.
What is this I'm holding?
You are holding a limited edition GameCube controller for Resident Evil 4.
One of the best Resident Evils ever.
Why is it open?
Well, now you just dropped the value of that.
Oh my god, why'd you open it?
So it's funny that you should ask, because we've been dealing with these damn limited edition for a long time, and we're going to give you a brief history of how it all got started and why people like us buy them.
That is not my blood, but I did play the game with that controller, so there might be a little bit of my blood on it.
So, Rob, you worked at...
I worked at Babbage's, America's computer software headquarters. As early as I can think of, the only special editions of games were like the original NES version of The Legend of Zelda was a gold cart, but subsequent versions were also go to the very last runs.
Like, there was never a gray card of Legend of Zelda? I thought it was the later prints that had a gray card.
Yeah, there's a gray
card. And I
card.
bet those are more rare than the gold cards.
Those are more rare, because, I mean, that was 91, I think that came out. 91 or 93.
I wouldn't consider those collector's editions. No. I remember one collector's edition, and I think this is one of the earliest ones, was the GameCube Zelda collector's edition that came with the GameCube. Like, you bought a GameCube, and the disc came with Zelda. It's up there. And it comes with Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, and
like
the
two NES,
the two NES games, right? Mm-hmm. And that was one of the first ones, but that's not how I got it. I got mine through the Nintendo Club points. So you collect points by every Nintendo game that you get, and you mail away your points at the time.
Mail it away.
No, actually, I did it through the internet. But it was like early stages of the Nintendo Club when they actually gave you stuff.
Gave you cool physical items. So I think some of the earliest things that I can recall selling at Babbage's.
Nothing but bad bitches in here tonight. Bad bitches only.
I like bad bitches because they like bad bitches too.
Were the Working Designs editions of Sega CD games. So right here, for example, we have my copy of Lunar Silver Star, and has beautiful, fantastic anime artwork from the game. And what's cool, and I think it had a color manual. No, this one did not have a color manual. The second one did.
So this is my copy,
but you
which has a completely different artwork.
There are different discs or different artworks for each disc.
You're saying Working Designs, is that the publisher of this game?
That is the translator, publisher, and distributioner at the time.
Distributor.
I'm sorry, distributor. Omar talked pretty one day.
And the guy who runs it is a guy named Victor Ireland. He's still in the game, and he was one of these guys. He knew Japanese. He had Japanese context. He went over to find these games that would be market well in the United States, and he also made sure to put in the extra effort to add the art, had great translations. These translations, the English is this, and the voice acting is really good.
A lot of people didn't appreciate his Americanized translations, though. Your standard collector's editions had things like this, and you had Umi on this disc. Tina owns Imaginary Earth with Hikaru, and then there's one with Fu, 3 different characters. What Working Designs did was start this collector's edition stuff. And I think they were way ahead of their time. Enemy Zero came out with a limited edition copy, and there were only 5 copies made in Japan. Where the creator went to your house and delivered all this stuff in a crate.
These games have extra stuff, but aren't collector's edition, are these games from Working Designs. The first time I can remember, and I could be wrong, is this game right here, Quake 3 Arena, in a metal box. So this is one of the first times where you
still case.
Yeah, still metal box.
Now what version is that? The PC version?
This is the PC version.
So not for Xbox or
there was no Xbox.
PS2.
How do you open this? I think you slide it.
Crack!
I gotta ruin it! Yeah, we're not gonna open it, I'll ruin it. So, like, one of the earliest things I remember is, like, you can get Quake 3 Arena, or you can get Quake 3 Arena in a metal box. And I remember going, oh my gosh, I gotta get this in a metal box. And that started the crave of any time a game came out, if it came in a metal box, I bought it. Quake 3 Arena came out, I believe, in like 1999-ish time frame. So it was a 3D game PC, so...
But that is the very first game that you remember.
That's the first game I can think of. There could have been more.
Standard copy and metal box copy.
And a metal box copy.
Right, because there was never a standard copy of Lunar or Lunar 2 on the PlayStation.
For the PlayStation.
Nippon Ichi was very much like Working Designs and Atlas, bringing over a lot of Japanese games and starting, to put them in giant boxes.
Giant boxes.
And I was like, I'm not gonna. That's a lot more money because it was back then. I will say that the price difference was only like $20 or $30, right?
But
and I'm
even
like,
back then,
and I'm like, that's
deal.
ridiculous. I'm not gonna pay $30 more to play, Growlancer.
We have here, this is the collector's edition of The Legend of Zelda: The Ocarina of Time. Collector's edition is kind of a misnomer because...
This was the first printing.
Yeah, the first printing of it. So
this is the gold cartridge?
That's the gold cartridge.
So it's like just first edition.
Yeah, first editions of this, and they were in a gold cartridge like the original Legend of Zelda. And then as you go through the different iterations of Zelda, like the Majora's Mask, the first edition of that had a gold cartridge as well. So even then, Nintendo hadn't figured out that, if we release a collector's edition and charge $30, $40 more, people will suck it up. Because, as you can see, every time they've done this with a Zelda release, they had a regular Zelda, and then they had one of these that came with something, and you can't pre-order it unless you stay up till 3 a.m. and you pay your extra money, and you may or may not even get it even if you pre-order it.
So back then, when web stores started doing exclusives, you had a huge window. You had months of PlayStation 3 exclusive box sets. You had months.
Yeah, I remember spending do I want Grand Theft Auto's maybe Grand Theft Auto 4? I had plenty of time to get the collector's edition of that, the big box thing, and it's like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. And then the day up, I could just go buy it. It didn't matter.
PS3 is when those web online only exclusives started.
Right.
PS3 and Xbox 360, of course.
Right, you start seeing them on Amazon, GameStop, online. So originally it seemed like it was just at game stores or the actual Nippon Ichi. They're exclusive.
And they started coming out with different things. Galleon was a pre-order for this, right?
Right.
And then your standard collector's edition was always an art book, music soundtrack.
Art books and soundtracks.
Maybe a toy or two, and then that's when I'm like, oh, a toy?
Yeah.
Well, that's a free toy. And then we started getting more obscure things.
Such as?
I was really good friends with the PR... Oh, this is going to sound really awkward. I was really good friends with the PR lady at Nippon Ichi.
She touched her.
And she said, you what now?
These are exclusive Etna panties.
Etna's a character.
Etna's a character from Disgaea. But this is Preenie, I Can Be a Hero video game that came out on the PSP.
Seriously,
and the exclusive edition through the web store came with Etna's panties. I remember, she was a good friend of mine that worked at...
to send you your panties, yes.
And she asked me, she's like, is your wife going to be okay with that? And I was like, oh, yeah, it's fine. Send me the panties.
It's fine.
The panties.
It's fine.
And then we get even more obscure editions with the really naughty limited edition stuff, which this is... I don't know if you guys have ever played Aggress War, but it's like a strategic RPG. Has nothing to do with the things that come in here, which is like a booby mouse pad.
Booby mouse pad. Mm-hmm.
That's never been used, by the way.
What is that stain?
At least not
Shut up.
gaming.
Don't worry about the stain.
And then a body pillow cover.
Oh, that's a good one.
For your... what? No, we'll go back to that another time. But, games started coming out with more obscure stuff. By the time we get to the PS4... and Xbox One days, we now have metal arms.
Metal arms that come with things.
We have swords. We have, what is this, Raiden's
that
arm
is
and
Raiden's
sword?
arm and sword lamp. Right?
Because
I've
I'm
never
going to
opened
use that. we
Is that
have
fragile?
Fragile, yes, it's French.
We have statues. We have
this
gold
is-
coins from the video game. We have playing cards.
This is Nathan Drake in this. And so, it's really interesting. We talk about these exclusive. Now these companies think, okay, I want to have a GameStop exclusive. I'm going to have an Amazon exclusive.
You're right.
I'm going to have a Best Buy exclusive. For example, this Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm. Of course, it's in a metal box again. If I see it metal, it's
box.
yeah. But it came with, and this is where I want to talk a little bit about downloadable content. Each store had a different physical collector's card that had a download code of a character you can get in the game. So if you wanted all the special characters in the game, you had to buy or know someone at these different establishments to get all the codes.
But don't they eventually release all the characters if you buy them online?
Sometimes they do. This one they did not.
What?
Yeah. So World of Final Fantasy. So let me tell you my sad story because I'm behind times with all that. I was like, I'm just going to go to GameStop and pick up World of Final Fantasy just because I want to do that. And I see that they had a limited edition on sale. And I was like, I'll purchase that used because I'm saving money.
Right.
They
had a downloadable content. I like Japanese voice acting.
Yes, that's the only way to play Persona 5.
The World of Final Fantasy comes only in English. The exclusive for the limited edition was the Japanese voice acting, which you can only get with a code.
That's wrong.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that is wrong.
It only comes with a code in the limited edition if you get it new.
This has been ramping up since the mid to late 90s of like, oh, let's just put this in a metal box. Oh, let's add some cool stuff from Japan. Oh, let's include like giant hands.
Right, and the price, of course.
And the price
let's make it $20 more.
Yeah, originally it was
let's
like
make it $30.
Yeah, it was $10 more,
Yeah.
$20 more, and
Now it's like $100, and now it's actually the price of a console. Like we're talking about Gears of War.
Yeah, big fan of Final Fantasy 15. I did buy a collector's edition of that, but the big collector's edition of
From the
Final
Square Enix store?
from the exclusively the Square Enix store, it came with all the stuff the other ones came with, and it came with a statue like this tall of not the main character, and it was $280.
So here's my question about that, though, and this is just you all personally. Obviously, you know, your very naughty edition you've opened because you're pulling stuff out. Are you
Gross.
buying
This is still
the
sealed.
collector's edition of this and the plain cheapest edition to play?
I'm glad you asked this question. So as you can see here, I have the Master Edition of Zelda and the Special Edition of Zelda. And originally...
Wait. Is there just a Zelda edition of Zelda?
Yes!
That comes in a normal-sized box?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. And the Wii U version of
That's what
Zelda is
we
probably
have.
worth more than, like, one of those, maybe.
Some of these, you know, go for insane prices, yeah.
Yeah, we could probably put our kids in school through some of this stuff. Thank you for watching Near Mint Condition. Let us know in the comments below, what was your first collector's edition game, and what's the one that you spent the most money on? We have some pretty good candidates that we've shown you. So please, like, subscribe, share. Thank you very much. Of stuff. It used to be easy. You may have to stand in line at midnight or whatever. It used to be fun to get collector's edition things.
We should tell some of our stories for the next episode.
Yeah, we should do that.
Some of our personal trials and tribulations to get some of these things.
Your story makes me so angry.
You know how many dicks I had to suck for that?